Up next, on the beat, the Dar-Lin of New York basketball continues to amaze. How long can the pun fun continue? Kobe calls out Lakers management. Deal or no deal for Powell? And spending the holiday with Holiday. Drew from the 76ers to discuss a much-improved Philly team. All right now on the beat.
Hi again, and welcome to The Beat, the show that brings you the stories behind the stories from those who cover the league at the highest level. Let's bring in the usual suspects and start things out from Silver Spring, Maryland. TNT's David Aldridge, our information maven, and NBA TV contributor and New York Daily News Knicks beat writer Frankie Ice. Frank Isola also with us. Lang Whitaker, editor-at-large from Slam Magazine, will be along in just a moment. And, guys, we're going to get started with... well, it's easy to know what we're going to get started with. It's always the lead story these days, and it's right in Frank's wheelhouse. The Jeremy Lin phenomenon just keeps on rolling. Sunday, 2 days after his first loss as a Knicks starter, Lin and the Knicks topped the world champion Dallas Mavericks on national TV at the Garden. Lin with 28, a career-high 14 assists in 45 and a half minutes, as the Knicks won their 8th in 9 games since Lin's sanity began. And Jeremy Lin also became the quickest to get to 28 and 14 as a starter. Just 8 games, and joining some big names on that list, including his airness. So, Frankie Ice, please tell me, what is it like to be at the center of the Linsanity craze?
Well, first of all, Vince, I thought that I was the darling of New York basketball. I guess now it's Jeremy Lin, so you're cheating on me. You know what? It's been unbelievable, and I think what was interesting about it. It started the night before the Super Bowl, and obviously in this town, the Super Bowl is always a big deal, especially with the Giants being in it. And once the parade was over, then everybody turned their focus to Jeremy Lin, and he's been unbelievable. And it's all everybody is talking about. And that's the thing about New York. We have 2 of everything. 2 baseball teams, 2 football teams. For some reason, we have 3 hockey teams. But everyone in New York City, though, seems to really focus on the Knicks in the winter, good or bad. And finally, they're good, and it's all because of this little point guard.
D.A., at this point, even if you had some doubts early on and were being cynical, which the media does, have most of the folks you've talked to come around regarding Jeremy Lin? Are they on board?
Well, look, here's what he's done, Vince. He's stabilized the Knicks at the most important position in basketball, point guard. Now, look, I don't think he's going to keep putting these numbers up, but as I tell people, the numbers are irrelevant in this case. What he's done is given these players belief that they can win, and the proof is in the winning. They keep winning basketball games. And so it doesn't matter if he has 7 assists or 14 assists or 7 turnovers in a game. They think they can win with him. Tyson Chandler thinks they can win with him. Landry Fields thinks they can win with him. And so they do win with him. They believe it, and they go out and prove it every night. And now you see with J.R. Smith coming in and Carmelo coming back, they have just about all the bases covered when it comes to having people on the court that can make shots. And that's what this kid is going to make them really good at. He's going to get the ball to guys who are ready to shoot and who can make open shots. And when you have a point guard who does that for a team, that changes everything about a team.
Frank, do you see that as being a smooth transition? I know a lot of people are making a big deal about Carmelo coming back, but at the same time, I mean, the guy's a superstar. He understands what's going on at this point. But I think the bigger picture is trying to keep the joy and the team basketball going for the Knicks, as well as the winning, of course.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think for Carmelo Anthony, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him when he does come into the lineup, because if things go wrong, a lot of people are going to start to blame him. Hey, Carmelo Anthony is a terrific player. That's the guy you want on your team, especially late in a close game. I still think Carmelo is going to be Carmelo. He likes having the ball in his hands. The ball is going to stop at certain times. I think, though, great players can learn to adjust. I think he's going to have to buy in. And let's also remember, a lot has to do with the way this team has played defensively. And Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony have never been great defensive players. And I think defensively, the Knicks have also gotten it done. But just to David's point, though, that's the important thing. The stat that's most important is he's 8-1. And you know what? Even when they played Minnesota about 10 days ago, he did not have a good game. But late in the game, he got to the foul line, made the free throw that gave the Knicks the lead. Even in Toronto, he had not played well up until the fourth quarter. He had the 12 points and, of course, the three-point play to tie the game, the three-pointer to win the game. So if we're judging him on making winning plays, well, Jeremy Lin is the real deal.
Frank, I want to go back to J.R. Smith, who comes in and folks were like, well, he didn't have any practice time. He doesn't need to know when he plays. He's going to come in and shoot the basketball, and that's just what he did. But what a find this could really be for the Knicks, yes?
Well, here's the J.R. Smith story. You know, he was on the West Coast Saturday night. He took the red eye. He arrived in New York about 7:45 in the morning. Game time was at 1. He took his physical. He was not supposed to play. The only reason he played in the game was because Bill Walker was unavailable. J.R. Smith said, you know what, I'll play. He was going on adrenaline. They didn't run any plays for him. Mike D'Antoni said he doesn't know any of the plays. We were just moving the ball. And I think you saw the best and the worst of J.R. Smith. He's explosive. Sometimes he's going to take some bad shots. But if he's buying in, think about the type of player they're bringing in off the bench. They're bringing in a guy that on any given night can give you 25 points off the bench. So it can be an important pickup if he's buying in and if everybody on the team is buying in to what Jeremy Lin has done for them.
All right, from the Knicks feel-good story to the other side of the happiness meter, and this is where Kobe is residing right now. Kobe Bryant, following a Sunday loss at Phoenix, well, he let loose on Lakers management. It involved teammate Pau Gasol, who was nearly traded and then wasn't at the start of the season. It's just tough for a player to give his all when you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. So I'd rather them not trade him at all. If they were going to do something, I wish they would just do it. If they're not going to do it, come out and say you're not going to do it. Well, guys, Kobe's been surly all year long. I mean, he's had personal problems. Lamar Odom is dealt. Chris Paul was there. Then Chris Paul wasn't there. Then he injured his wrist. Who's Jeremy Lin? My thing with this, DA, is why now? I'm sure that they're doing something behind the scenes, the Lakers, to try to get a trade done. But that's March 15th. I mean, is it Kobe just being frustrated losing in Phoenix or culmination of things?
Well, I got to tell you, Vince, I completely agree with Kobe Bryant on this one. I mean, look, Pau Gasol is not your garden variety guy that you just trade, on a whim. He won 2 championships, helped you win 2 championships in Los Angeles. I think you treat that type of player with a little more deference. And if you do want to trade him for whatever reason, you owe it to that player to say, look, we're going to trade you. We don't know where, but here's why we're doing it. Don't take it personally. If they haven't had that discussion with Pau Gasol, they should have that discussion with Pau Gasol. And if all of this is just media speculation and none of it's true, they should come out and say, look, we're not trading Pau Gasol, period. It's not happening. I think he's owed that, and I think Kobe's absolutely right. They should either do it or don't do it, but all this dangling him out there for the last couple of weeks, I think, is unfair to him and to the Lakers.
I agree with you that I think it's Kobe's right to say that as leader of the team, but he has said it in the press, and therefore it opens up this can of worms. I'm sure saying it in Mitch Kupchak's office or privately would also have that type of effect. Frank, what do you think about Kobe's frustrations and your thoughts on just Pau staying or going?
Well, to me, Kobe Bryant is all about winning, and I think this frustration is a culmination of a lot of things. I think he looks at this team, and I think he knows it's going to be very difficult to win with this roster. Then, of course, you have all the speculation about Pau Gasol. The Lakers are in a difficult spot because, to me, they're a bit of a team in transition, but they still have that superstar player in Kobe who can play at a high level for 2-3 years. You know what? You want to go for it because I really do believe you could win another championship. But once you get rid of Odom and really don't get anything back, you're kind of telling, everyone, you know what, we're looking to, maybe a little bit to the future. And I think that's why the last time Kobe Bryant, when he went on the radio and he said he wanted to be traded, that's when it looked like the Lakers were in a bit of a downspin, and he figured, you know what, I'm not going to win. Maybe I should get out of here. Kobe Bryant is all about winning, and that frustration to me tells you that he doesn't think that he could win with this team.
D.A., do they make a deal? Do they swing this big deal? And is Dwight Howard the chip? What?
I just don't think Dwight Howard's going to wind up in Los Angeles. I mean, I know they have pieces, but if they are going to not put Gasol and Bynum in the deal, I don't know that Orlando's going to do that deal for just one of those 2 guys. I mean, I think they want both of them if they're going to give up, their franchise player. So I don't see it. I mean, I think there's a chance that Gasol gets moved somewhere else if they are trying to save money and get from under the luxury tax. But I think that's something that has to happen quicker rather than later because you don't want Kobe Bryant stewing for the next 5 or 6 weeks before the trade deadline. You don't want that. You want this resolved.
Yes, you absolutely do. And Kobe can stew. He really can stew. All right, we're going to take a break here on The Beat. Coming up, holiday activity. Philadelphia 76er Drew Holiday joining us to talk about the Sixer revival and just how far this young team can go.